Round 3 of the group stage of Leagues Cup continues on Sunday with 7 more games this round. Let's look at all of them and make a few of our top Leagues Cup predictions from those 7 games. Now, as of Saturday, the teams that have advanced are Austin, LAFC, Pachuca, TFC, DC, Philly, Juarez, St. Louis, Mazatlan, Tigres, Miami, the LA Galaxy, Cincinnati, New York City FC, Toluca, SKC, and Portland. And the eliminated teams so far are the Red Bulls, Dallas, Puebla, and Chicago. So far, after Matchday 2, MLS has been taking a commanding lead in the head-to-head matches between LigaMX being 11-4. Let's get into these Sunday games now. And if you're betting these games and you want a great bonus, check out this link, signupexpert.com/shredthespread. I'll put that down there in the comments. You can see great promo offers, bonus bets, deposit matches, and more from all of the top sports books in your region. Here's one parlay I'm going to start this off with here. 3 games, starting with Atlanta United and Santos Laguna. Atlanta were winless in 5 games, but they came into the Leagues Cup off of impressive 2-1 wins over 2-1 win over Columbus in their last MLS game. They fell behind 3-1 on Matchday 1 though to DC. Fought back to draw that 3-3 before losing in PKs, coming away with just 1 point. The Five Stripes have scored 2 goals in 3 straight games now, and at least 1 goal in 12 of 13 in all competitions, but they've given up a goal in 13 of 14 in all competitions, and also multiple goals in 5 of 7. The transfer window has seen Atlanta make a big splash by signing Atalanta star midfielder Alexei Miranchuk as a new DP who just won the Europa League this year. He may or may not, though likely not, be ready to play in this game. Santos played DC on Wednesday, so there's a big rest disadvantage here for them, considering Atlanta will have played 8 days of rest between Santos only having 3. Against DC, they got spanked 3-0, with DC having 3 different scores and scoring 3 goals on their 5 shots on target. So both teams here have allowed 3 goals in their opening games. Further back, Santos Laguna has just 1 point and 1 goal scored, though, in 4 in the Mexican Apertura. They're 0-1-3, and they've been outscored 6-1, sitting in 16th. But their struggles have gone back much further than just this season. They're now winless in 11 games, and they have just 4 wins in 23. They've been held off the score sheet in 7 of their past 8, and in 12 of the past 23, scoring just 2 goals in their last 9 games. This will be the first meeting between these teams, and the winner will advance. Right now, to me, if you're picking a winner, it has to be Atlanta. They do often, though, give up goals, and they did just give up 3. So probably Atlanta to win this game. Maybe both teams to score, but then Santos rarely are scoring at all lately. So in the parlay, we'll just go Atlanta to score. Next up, Orlando City, Atletico San Luis. These teams meet for the first time ever. Orlando coasted on Matchday 1, putting up 4 on CF Montreal to go on to win 4-1. Each of Dagger Dan Paulson, Facundo Torres, Ramiro Enrique, and Martin Ojea got on the score sheet for the Lions. That makes the Lions 5-1-0 in their past 6. They have just 1 loss in 9. In those games, they've also scored 26 goals. In their last 10 games, the goal totals in those games combined have been 5-2, 3-4, 5-3, 6-6, 4-4. So tons of overs in Orlando games. San Luis lost to the same Montreal team 3-2. Montreal was up 2-0 just 27 minutes in, and it stayed that way until San Luis scored on a PK in the 77th. Montreal added a third. Soon after, San Luis got another PK late in that game in the 103rd minute. So they got 2 goals, but both from PKs for San Luis. Goals were easy to predict in that game, in my opinion. If you go back to last season, San Luis bets on both teams to score are now gone 10-2, and there's been 2 or more goals in 14 straight Atletico San Luis games. There's been 3 or more goals in 12 of their last 14. Current form here certainly looks like an Orlando win. They are likely already through, though, unless they get smashed by San Luis. Meanwhile, San Luis need a win, and they need at least 2 goals to even jump Montreal for second place. That will force them to push up, opening this up for Orlando to hopefully score at least 2. Let's go Orlando over 1.5 goals for this parlay. And third leg of the parlay with Philadelphia Union, Cruz Azul. It's the first ever meeting between these teams. Are the Union back? This team has been brutal all season long, and they had a streak of 0 wins in 10 games and just 1 win in 17. At one point, they'd conceded 18 goals in just 6 games from a period from June 1st to July 3rd. But then they beat New England and Nashville 5-1 and 3-0 before the Leagues Cup. And on Matchday 1, they beat a hot Charlotte FC team 1-0 as well. Now, given where they've been, this is great, but all 3 of those games were at home and versus 3 teams that are not great at scoring. The Revs and Yotes have been big disappointments all season long as well. Now, this game will also be at home, but surely La Maquina Cruz Azul will have strong support as they're a much higher caliber team than those 3. Cruz Azul are top of the table after 4 games in Mexico right now. They're 3-1-0, scoring 9 times, allowing just 1. But on Matchday 2, they could only draw Charlotte 0-0 before going on to lose in PKs. That means they need a win here to advance, while Philly are already through to the knockout rounds. Cruz Azul, currently first. Apertura, they have 9 goals, just 1. They should certainly be able to score at least 1 here. Philly has been hot, and LigaMX seems to be struggling in this tournament so far. So I'm just going to ask Cruz Azul to score. They've done so in 13 of 15, while Philly has conceded in 8 of 11. So let's go Cruz Azul to score, Orlando to score at least 2, Atlanta to score. That will come in at plus 125 odds in that 3-leg parlay. Parlay number 2, 2 games here. Let's go Chivas, Guadalajara, and the LA Galaxy in front of a record-breaking Leagues Cup crowd in San Jose of over 50,000 people. Mostly, though, for Chivas, Guadalajara found themselves down 1-0 in the first half. They huffed, they puffed, they kept attacking, and they finally equalized in the second half stoppage time, only to go on to lose in PKs. If we go back further for Chivas, they're 9-4-2 in all competitions. Their games are usually tight, making the under 2.5, seeing it's gone 10-1. There's been a clean sheet for them, against them, or for both teams in 10 of 11 recent Chivas games, and also in 12 of 14. LA played local rival San Jose on Wednesday, and in a rivalry that usually sees goals, it was scoreless for the first 40 minutes. LA finally scored, though, in the 41st minute. San Jose equalized in the 75th. We were almost off to PKs in that game until Ricky Puig chipped a pass to Mickey Yamane, who crossed it to Miguel Berry to slot in the winner late in that game in the 89th minute. 89th minute to give LA the 2-1 win. It's the 4th time they've beaten their rivals San Jose in the Cali Clasico this season as well. While Chivas games have been tight, Galaxy games are the complete opposite. They're usually pretty wide open. The Galaxy have just 3 losses in 17. They've won 10 of 13. They've scored multiple goals in 11 of 16. Recent scores have been a 2-1 win, 3-2 win, 3-2 win, 2-0 loss, 2-1 win, 2-1 loss, and a 3-0 win. So there's certainly a case here for the both teams to score, especially with Chivas needing to attack and go for this win to advance. LA having not kept a clean sheet in any of their past 6 games. Ex-San Jose Earthquake player Cade Cowell didn't do much in Game 1 for Chivas, but he does have 3 goals in 4 games in Mexico. And ex-Galaxy man Chicharito has been quiet in Mexico, but he could be a threat here as well if he gets some playing time. These teams met way back in 2007 in the Superliga, won 2-1 by Chivas. More recently, though, there's only a 2022 friendly, won 2-0 by LA in recent times. So that's not too much to consider here, but I will say at least a goal from both in this game. Let's go both teams to score, Chivas and the LA Galaxy. Next, Seattle Sounders and Necaxa. It's been almost 20 years since these teams last met in the Champions League, now Cup, back in 1997, won 4-1 by Necaxa. Seattle got pumped 3-0 at home to LAFC in their last game in MLS, but they had won 6 straight before that, outscoring opponents 12-4 in that time in the games prior. Further back, they have just 3 losses in 19, and it's now just 3 losses in 20 when we include their first match in this tournament in Leagues Cup, it being a 2-0 win over Minnesota. It has to be said, though, that game was tight. It was 0-0 until the Loons took a red card in the 64th minute, and the Sounders finally got on the score sheet late in that game with 2 goals very late on in the 87th and 94th minutes. So even though Seattle has a 2-0 win on the books there, it was a very close game. Great, given Seattle's a strong form here, they're obviously the clear favorites in this game over Necaxa, who lost 1-0 to that Minnesota team themselves, and despite being up a player from the 20-minute mark onwards. That meant Robin Loud's 10th minute PK stood up as the only goal in that game. Necaxa had 30 shot attempts, and Loons keeper Dane Sinclair made 16 saves in the unlikely win. Necaxa is 1-2 to start, and they're just 11th in the Apertura. Go back further, they have just 1 win in 5, but only 7 losses in 25 games. They've scored in 18 of 20. They've also given up a goal in 18 of 20, and they've given up a goal in 8 straight games. Seattle should win here in my opinion, but they only need 1 point to wrap up first place, so we'll just bet on them to score, and that will improve the both teams to score odds from that previous game. So we'll go Seattle to score, Chivas and LA, both teams to score, coming in at minus 127 odds. And the final game here, we'll look at, actually 2 more games to look at that I won't make official bets on, but we'll still include some information on them. Pachuca and Toronto FC. It's the first meeting ever between these sides. TFC played on Matchday 1, and they went to a place they rarely find success, that being New York, the New York Red Bulls, and they got a 0-0 draw before going on to win in PKs. Pachuca also needed PKs versus New York, being drawn 1-1 as well, and they also took the win in spot kicks. That leaves Group J as one of the tightest right now, even though one team's already eliminated. All 3 teams here have 2 points, with Pachuca seated first above TFC, who's second, and New York in third. However, New York is eliminated. TFC do now have wins in 3 of 4 games, and they've scored in 6 of 8. but those are their only 3 wins in 14 games. And really, last game was a draw, not counting the PKs, so TFC only have 2 regulation wins in their last 14 games. Pachuca, off to a slow start in LigaMX right now, even though they just won the Champions Cup. They're 12th, they're 1-1-2, and their games have been very close. They've scored just twice, and they've allowed just 3 times in those 4 games. After giving up a boatload of goals, including goals in 10 straight, TFC, though, their games have also been tight. They now have back-to-back clean sheets. This game as well could be tight. It's an under or the draw for me. The Red Bulls are already out. Both of these teams know they're advanced, so it's hard to judge who will be going for this more. The game will be in Toronto. I could see probably the under or maybe a draw. Let's go draw if we had to make a bet there at plus 240. In the last game, St. Louis City and Juarez. These teams have never met, like many teams in this tournament. And in the first meeting, there's not a ton on the line here. Both are advanced since Dallas is eliminated, since they've already lost both of their games. And they'll still be playing for first, though, in this group, in Group C. St. Louis has been winless in 4 with just 1 win in 14. And that 1 win was against San Jose coming into the Leagues Cup before they got here. But the transfer window is open. In kind of new additions in the midfield, Cedric Touchard, Marcel Hartel, and both got on the score sheet versus Dallas in a 2-1 win on Matchday 1 for St. Louis. St. Louis had more shots, 20-12, shots on target, 6-3 in that match as well. They meet Juarez, who played Dallas on Wednesday as well. Juarez piled up 20 shot attempts, 9 on target, scoring twice in a 2-0 win. This, to me, is an incredible stat. It was just the 3rd time that Juarez has kept a clean sheet in their past 48 overall games. So I was expecting Dallas to maybe win or score, and shockingly, Juarez kept the clean sheet there. Overall, Juarez has yet to win this season in Mexico after a 2-2 draw, 3-2 loss, 2-1 loss, and 2-1 loss. If you go back into last season, they have just 5 wins in 31 LigaMX games. Defense that was poor all last season, it's continued to be poor this season. They've given up 10 goals in 4 games. Now, considering neither of these teams needed the win here and both have been in overall poor form, I think this is a tough game to judge. In St. Louis, I might lean towards the St. Louis win at even money, but I'm going to skip it in the official picks. I'll put all those official picks, the 2 parlays, in a graphic right here at the end of the video, but make sure to let me know what you're betting in Leagues Cup action on Sunday. Drop those picks down there in the comments. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to get more Leagues Cup picks coming soon.